Hello, my fellow gaming thinkers. I return to give you my final impressions of the ATGM changes that have been brought to World of Tanks Modern Armor Cold War mode. But before I get into that, I'd like to take a moment to say a quick prayer. Tank Jeebus, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Wargaming makes the rules, so wargaming can break the rules. Now, on to these changes. Firstly, I'm recording this trying out the Portal handheld for the PS5's microphone. Secondly, there's only one bot in this game, so that's why I consider it to be an acceptable match. And I'm playing the AMX-13 SS-11 TCA. Oh my god, the alphabet soup. Ugh. Because this tank, from its inception into the game, fits the playstyle now that most ATGM tanks, with exception of the WZ-122, the Ignis Brigaccio, and the Beglitzpanzer, will be playing as. And that's essentially as support snipers, support tank destroyers, and that is... I'm not saying it's like playing artillery, but because you're more mobile and you're more capable of actually supporting your team as opposed to waiting for your team to spot, waiting for a reload, watching the miss, and just being utterly bored. But there's now a balance, more certainly in Era 2. The matches, yes, are lasting longer. They're more in line with what World of Tanks Modern Armor had originally said about a year, maybe a little over 2 years ago, about having 5-minute matches in in the Cold War mode, and we definitely see the 5-minute matches, the 8-minute matches, the more, as some would say, strategic matches. Yes, less YOLOing, but it's also drawn out the obvious flaw that autocannons are now not as capable as they would be needed for this game. I have long thought that the autocannons for the obvious culprits, BMP-3, BMP-2, oh my god, the Bradley, the M3A2 Bradley, compared to its Era 2 ancestor, or predecessor, I guess, is woefully underpowered, far too inaccurate, and going forward, this is going to be a growing issue because we will be seeing the celebration tanks for this year being introduced into World of Tanks Modern Armor, and they are autocannon tanks, kind of like what PC is about to have with the Czechoslovakian anti-air slash autocannon tanks. They're going to be now throughout all the tiers, not just for the low tiers. In World War II mode, you'll have the M42 Duster, and the Cold War mode, the M163 VADS. And I gotta give a shout out to WotC Academy's YouTube channel, because trying to find this information turned out to be a bit of a pain in the butt, because apparently World of Tanks Modern Armor doesn't like to archive things very well or easily accessible, so thanks for that help. Now, the issue is, and I think it's not so much a damage issue, it's a penetration. And because we're now, once again, the autocannon portion of these multi-weapon system tanks is supposed to be the autocannon, it's so woefully, at medium ranges, ineffective, even if you're shooting gold, and obvious at long distance, with the exception of the Beglitzpanzer and the Ignis Brigaccio. They're it's hard to use them outside of close range combat, and now, especially in Era 3, you really don't want to be up close and personal with MBTs. Maybe if there's more mediums in Era 3, that could kind of change up the combat scenario like the Leopards did for Era 2. But not being able to, even from the rear at a medium distance, to penetrate a tank in a somewhat reliable fashion is kind of, it makes you very ineffective and dependent on ATGMs that you have a very limited amount of, and really does relegate your playstyle to being that of a support tank. And if you're in a platoon, that's great. If you're able to keep up with the flow of combat, especially in Air 3, that can work for you, but it does make us all wish for better autocannons. And if, especially in Cold War, especially with all those armor now, as for the M163, there was no indication of which, if it's Era 2 or Era 3. I'm thinking Era 2, but who knows? Again, wargaming makes the rules to break the rules, so we shall see. But those are coming, and the current situation is, while the ATGM changes have definitely, and they came in at a good time, right before Metal Fest 2, and definitely helped Era 3 be more palatable to anyone who may have just came in and decided to show their Rob Zombie love and bought a Dragula. That kind of helps them out, but it was, my main concern was just the 4 days to come to accept it. And oh dear God, that wasn't supposed to happen. But I do agree the ATGM changes are necessary. They are another sign that this game is starting to become more player friendly, and that's a good thing. I guess you could say the boat is slowly turning, still waiting on the border, on the map border being more than just a line on the ground. And the next stage is sort of buffing a lot of the FB vehicles, the fighting vehicles that are auto canning allowed, capable, and bringing them up to kind of the closer standards of the Big Blitzpanzer. So, like and subscribe if you like your ATGMs. Comment down below what you would like to see done with any of the light tanks, or maybe do you think the light tanks are in a better place now? Are changes needed? And keep your tracks on the ground. Hope the RNG is in your favor. And I'll catch you in the next one. And yeah, sorry, I'm still commiserating with the fact that I can no longer shotgun with the weasel, who now needs more bushes to survive with. Thank you, and goodbye.